In 1961, these 15 songs were impossible to escape. They were on every radio, playing in every jukebox, and turning young Americans into fans overnight. Then something happened. The hits faded, the artists disappeared, and most people stopped talking about them. But play these songs again today, and something strange happens. You remember the melody, the words, maybe even the person you were with when you first heard it. Today, we're bringing back 15 one-hit wonders everyone remembers from 1961. And number one, you'll know it before the first line is even sung. Number one, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. The Tokens.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
What if one of the most unforgettable songs of 1961 wasn't really what America thought it was? The moment those voices rise and that haunting whim-away sound begins, you know the song, even if you haven't heard it in decades. It feels simple, almost hypnotic. But beneath that familiar melody is a story that reaches far beyond an American pop chart. That may be why this song has survived when so many other hits from 1961 have disappeared. It doesn't ask you to understand every word. It simply creates a feeling. You could hear it late at night on the radio, in a living room, or years later somewhere completely unexpected, and suddenly, you're back there again. The melody does something memory cannot. It refuses to let go. And maybe that's the real mystery. Was it simply a catchy novelty? Or did the Tokens accidentally create something timeless? Decades later, people still recognize it within seconds. Some songs become memories. This one became part of the memory itself.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. As I walk along, I wonder what went.
Number two, Runaway, Del Shannon.
And as I still walk on, I think of the things that...
Some songs begin with a melody. Runaway begins with a feeling. That strange keyboard sound arrives almost like something from another world, followed by Del Shannon's aching voice, and suddenly, you're not listening to a song anymore. You're inside someone's heartbreak. For a record released in 1961, it sounded remarkably restless and modern.
I'm a-walking in the rain, 'tis a-falling and I feel the pain.
What makes it powerful is that the emotion never feels completely controlled. There is loneliness, confusion, and the desperate need to understand why someone walked away. It isn't polished heartbreak. It feels exposed. And maybe that is why listeners connected with it so quickly. Anyone who has ever watched someone leave knows that empty space afterward.
To end this misery, I wonder.
Listen to it now, decades later, and the strange thing is that the production may sound old, but the emotion doesn't. That is the test of a great song. So when that opening sound comes back, ask yourself, are you remembering Del Shannon? Or are you remembering someone you once lost?
As I walk along, I wonder what went. She took my love, then ran around.
Number 3, Runaround Sue, Dion. It sounds cheerful, almost harmless. You can sing along before you even realize what the song is actually saying. But Runaround Sue is really a warning disguised as a party record. Dion takes a story about betrayal and turns it into something energetic enough to make you smile while telling you not to trust the wrong person. And that contradiction is what makes it memorable. Everybody seems to know a Sue. Maybe it was someone from school, someone your friends warned you about, or perhaps someone you once loved who turned out to be different from the person you thought they were. The song works because the character feels bigger than one person. She becomes a memory of youthful mistakes. But there is another question hiding underneath the fun. Is Dion telling an honest story, or simply putting blame on someone who refused to behave the way he expected? Either way, the song leaves an impression. And after all these years, one thing remains certain. Once Runaround Sue starts, you're singing along.
The worst person I know.
Number 4. Mother-in-Law, Ernie Cado. Imagine releasing a song in 1961 that openly complains about your mother-in-law, and somehow turning that complaint into a national hit. It sounds like a terrible idea. Maybe that's exactly why it worked. Mother-in-Law took something people might normally keep private and turned it into a joke everyone could share.
Every time I open my mouth, steps it right up put.
But listen beneath the humor. The reason people laughed was probably because the frustration felt familiar. Family relationships can be complicated. Sometimes you love someone and still find yourself losing your patience with them. Ernie Cado understood that tension and wrapped it inside an irresistible New Orleans groove.
Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, mother-in-law.
That combination made the record impossible to ignore. It wasn't trying to be profound. It was trying to make people laugh, and sometimes that says more about everyday life than a serious love song ever could. Decades later, the joke still makes sense. So was Mother-in-Law just a novelty hit? Or was it one of the cleverest snapshots of family life ever put on a record? Number 5. Bristol Stomp, The Doubles. There are songs you listen to, and then there are songs that make you move before you even think about it. Bristol Stomp belonged to the second category. In 1961, it wasn't simply something teenagers heard on the radio. It became something they physically participated in. The dance and the record seemed to become one. The music itself is straightforward. The rhythm is repetitive, immediate, and easy to follow. But perhaps that was the genius. You didn't need musical knowledge. You didn't need to understand anything complicated. You just heard the beat and joined in. School dances, basements, parties. Suddenly, the song belonged to everyone.
Kids in Bristol are sharp as a pistol when they do the Bristol Stomp. Really something.
And that raises an interesting question. If the song was really nothing more than another dance craze, why do people still remember it decades later? Maybe the music wasn't the whole story. Maybe what people remember isn't the record itself, but where they were when they first heard it, and who was standing beside them. Number 6. Tossin' and Turnin', Bobby Lewis.
I kick the blankets on the floor, turn my pillow upside down.
Have you ever been exhausted, lying in bed, desperately wanting to sleep, but your mind refuses to stop? That feeling is exactly what makes Tossin' and Turnin' so relatable. Bobby Lewis turned sleeplessness into a song about obsession, frustration, and the kind of heartbreak that keeps replaying inside your head.
When I was tossing and turning.
The rhythm is energetic, almost strangely cheerful considering the subject. But that contrast is what makes it work. Your body hears a catchy pop song, while your mind hears someone who cannot escape his own thoughts. Anyone who has spent a long night thinking about someone understands that feeling. The clock moves, the room stays quiet, and somehow the person you're trying to forget becomes impossible to forget. That is why this song has more depth than it first appears to have. It isn't simply about losing sleep. It is about losing control of your thoughts. And maybe that is why it still feels honest today. Because sometimes the hardest person to escape is the one living inside your own head.
Don't you know that I dance to the water, the creek, or in the head that night?
Number 7. Quarter to 3, Gary. U.S. Bonds.
Let me tell you that I never had it so good. Yeah, I know you never.
This song doesn't politely invite you to the party. It throws the door open and pulls you inside. From the beginning, Quarter to 3 sounds like something is already happening. People shouting, moving, laughing, and losing themselves in the moment. It feels less like a recording and more like a memory captured in real time.
But everybody was as happy as they could be, but they were singing with daddy.
That rawness is the secret. Everything doesn't sound perfectly controlled, and that is exactly why it feels alive. In an era when polished pop records were becoming increasingly important, this song sounded almost reckless. You can imagine hearing it and immediately feeling the energy of the room around you. But perhaps the most important thing is what the song represents: youth, noise, freedom. One night when nobody cared what tomorrow looked like. That feeling is temporary, but music can preserve it forever. So when you hear Quarter to 3 today, are you hearing an old party record? Or are you hearing what being young once sounded like?
Let me tell you that I never had it so good. Yeah, I know you never.
You're my love, you're my angel.
Number 8. Daddy's Home, Shep and the Limelights.
For this moment, just to be by your side.
The title alone makes people pause. Daddy's Home. But who is Daddy? That mystery pulled listeners in immediately. And once the song begins, it only gets deeper. The vocals are smooth, almost comforting, but underneath there's something unresolved. This isn't just a simple love story. It's about leaving and coming back, about time passing and emotions not quite lining up anymore.
It wasn't on a Sunday.
Some listeners heard romance. Others felt something more complicated, even uneasy. And that's what gives the song its power. It doesn't explain everything. It leaves space for interpretation. If you were listening in 1961, you probably filled in the blanks yourself. That's why it stuck, because it felt personal. So what is it really? A reunion? Or a story with pieces missing that we're still trying to understand?
And wrote and told me you had teardrops in your eye.
Number 9. Apache, Jürgen Ingmann. No lyrics, no explanation, and somehow it tells a story more vividly than most songs with words. That opening guitar instantly creates a scene, wide, open, tense. You can almost picture it unfolding like a movie. But here's what surprised people back then. This wasn't an American artist. It came from Denmark. And for some listeners, that raised questions. Could someone outside the culture capture that kind of sound? The answer came quickly. Yes. Because feeling doesn't need translation. The rhythm pulls you in, the melody builds tension, and suddenly you're completely inside it. Some critics dismissed it as just an instrumental. Others recognized something bigger. So ask yourself, do songs really need lyrics to connect? Or can pure sound sometimes say even more? Number 10. Let There Be Drums, Sandy Nelson. In a time dominated by voices and lyrics, this track did something unexpected. It put the drums in charge. No storytelling, no emotional vocals, just rhythm driving everything forward. At first, that felt unusual, almost too simple. But then, something happens. The beat builds, it locks in, and before you know it, you're completely hooked. That's the power of repetition when it's done right. Some listeners thought it lacked depth. Others saw it as something bold, stripping music down to its core. Because rhythm is where everything begins. If you were hearing this in 1961, it probably felt different from anything else on the radio. And different gets attention. So here's the question. Is this minimalism at its best, or just a basic idea that somehow turned into a massive hit? Number 11. Duke of Earl, Gene Chandler. There's something about this song that feels bigger than it should be. Duke of Earl is simple, almost too simple, and yet it commands attention from the very first note. That deep, echoing intro. You either remember it instantly, or you feel like you should. Some say it was just a product of its time.
Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I'm the Duke of Earl.
Others argue it defined the sound of an era. But here's what's undeniable. It sticks with you. Not because it's complex, but because it's confident. It knew exactly what it was, and it never tried to be anything else. And maybe that's why it never truly disappeared. Because in a world full of noise, sometimes the simplest voice is the one that echoes the longest. Number 12. Michael, the Highwayman.
Sister, help to trim the sails.
This didn't sound like a typical hit from 1961. It slowed things down. It felt reflective, almost spiritual. And in the middle of energetic pop songs, that stood out immediately. Michael has roots that go deeper than the charts. Its message carries weight. That's what drew some listeners in, but not everyone connected with it. Some thought it was too serious, too different from what they expected to hear on the radio. And yet, that difference is exactly what gave it staying power. Because it wasn't chasing trends, it was offering something meaningful. If you were listening back then, it probably felt like a pause in the noise, a moment to think. So, was it ahead of its time, or simply out of place in a fast-moving musical world?
River is deep.
Johnny, I said we were through just to see what
Number 13, Johnny Get Angry, Joni Summers.
Johnny get angry, Johnny get mad. Give me the biggest lecture.
This one surprised a lot of people, and honestly, it still does. Johnny Get Angry flipped expectations in a way that felt almost rebellious for its time. A sweet voice asking for something bold, even aggressive? Not everyone knew what to make of it. Some critics dismissed it. Others couldn't stop talking about it.
I want a brave man, I want a caveman. Johnny, show me that you care.
But here's what matters. People remembered it. Not just the melody, but the attitude. It captured a moment when things were starting to shift, even if no one fully realized it yet. And maybe that's why it didn't turn into a long career. It was ahead of its time. But listen closely now, and you'll hear more than a novelty. You'll hear a spark, the kind that doesn't fade, just waits to be noticed again.
I want a caveman. Johnny, show me that you care. Really care for me.
Number 14, the wah-wah-toozy, the Orlons.
Baby, baby, when you do that, never do you get the best.
Now here's a song that divided people, even back then. The wah-wah-toozy wasn't just a hit, it was a moment, a dance, a trend, a cultural flashpoint. Some loved it, others thought it was just another passing fad. But here's what most people forget. This song filled rooms. Teenagers packed dance floors, trying to keep up with a rhythm that felt brand new at the time. And maybe that's why it didn't last in the spotlight. It was tied to a moment you had to be there for. But if you were, you remember. The laughter, the awkward steps, the feeling of being young and slightly out of sync. Because songs like this don't age the same way. They freeze time. And once you hear it again, you're right back there.
What to see is the dance to do.
Sweet little Sheila, and Lord, if you see her, blue eyes and a grace.
Number 15, Sheila, Tommy Rowe.
Never knew a girl like the little Sheila. Her very name drives me.
You've heard this song before, but here's the strange part. Most people don't actually remember where. Sheila wasn't just another catchy tune from 1962. It was everywhere. Car radios, diners, late-night drives, and yet somehow it faded into the background of memory. Some fans even argue it was too simple to last, but maybe that's exactly why it did.
Sheila whispers in my ear, I'm telling you, girl, I love you, Sheila, dear.
There's something almost hypnotic about that rhythm, something that sneaks up on you years later. You might not recall the charts, the headlines, or even the artist, but the feeling? That never left. And here's the truth nobody talks about. Songs like this weren't meant to be analyzed. They were meant to be lived. And maybe, just maybe, a part of you still is.
Just being right together, hey, this little girl